Farm2Table Direct Show, and I am standing here with John from Carr Blades, and he's about to show us what he's got here and tell us a little bit about himself. Now, he's a local from, did you say Clayton?
Clayton, Oklahoma.
Clayton, Oklahoma. And John, kind of tell us a little bit about how you got started and then show us around here.
Well, I got started blacksmithing about 5 years ago, and that led into doing bladesmith. Believe it or not, some people had asked me if I'd ever heard of Forged and Far, and I hadn't. So I watched a couple episodes and thought, well, I can do that. And so I've been doing the blades for about 5 years now.
Yeah, and that's good. I mean, I think a lot of people, by watching shows like that and even things in the homesteading community in general, they see something out there and they think, I think I want to try it. And then they try it, and sometimes it sticks, right? You really enjoy the process, and by the things that I see that you've got out here, you've been doing an awful lot of work. So kind of tell us what you got right here on the table.
A lot of the blades that we have, we're getting ready for the season. This is our first show for the season. We'll be next week over in Antlers doing another show for the deer. What I'm putting out right now is basically some of my hunting knives. They're all quality steel, all made in America. The handles, a lot of the handles I put together myself. And by that I mean, if you take this particular handle here, I did this with a resin pine cone inlay. All the leather work my wife and I do. I got so busy into doing the leather work and the knife that I had to turn over my lathe business to my wife, and so she helps with it, and we both work in the garage producing all this.
So that's a good home-based business then, and you guys go around to different events and display it. Is there other places that you guys sell? Do y'all sell online or in any kind of outlet or anything like that?
We have not sold online for right now because I sell by word of mouth.
Right.
And so for a lot of our stuff, I'm behind orders half the time, and I do it because it's fun. I enjoy doing it. It's profitable. I'm not trying to make a living at it. I'm retired. But yeah, we do knife shows, trade shows, gun shows,
and homesteading shows.
And homestead shows.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And that's a good place to do it. Now, I see one over here that is a Damascus still. Is this correct? Is that a Damascus I'm looking at?
You can go ahead and pick that up. That's a Damascus blade. Most of my Damascus I make out of 1095 and 15N20 nickel. And so we make all of the blades ourselves. Some of the blades, if I'm in a hurry, I'll go ahead and buy the blanks and just put the handles on it.
Now, the blank that's where the Damascus is already twisted up and ready to go.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Correct.
Okay.
So the blank would be the actual blade portion of it, and then the handles. I can either buy the material or I make the material.
Right.
And we do everything from micarta, G10 antlers, acrylic resin, you name it, we do it.
So what's one of your most popular blades that you guys sell? I mean, is there one that just seems to really hit with them, the kind of handle and the type of steel or even the use of it, or is it just kind of an all around?
It's
you never know.
A little bit all around, but it depends upon the season also on what your target audience is. For a lot of them, it's like this time of year, it's going to be the hunting knives.
Hunting
Everybody's
knives.
getting ready for hunting.
Yeah, makes sense.
Later in the year, depending where we're at, if we're down and we have done shows down in Texas, if we get to the larger cities, then we turn around and we'll wind up selling some of the chef knives.
Okay.
And people like to buy the chef knives. So on the custom work, if somebody doesn't know what they want, then they can tell me what they're going to use it for, and I'll make some recommendations, build it. I've had a friend who's stationed in Germany. He had a knife he had been looking for several years, couldn't find it, had a picture, and so he sent the picture to me, and I made the knife for him. So
So do a lot of people like have an idea about a knife that they want and then they reach out to you and describe what they want and then you make that?
That's what we get on a lot of the custom knives.
I see.
So as well as they'll come in and depending, if you come to me and you want a knife made, the first thing I'm going to say is, what do you want to use it for? And based upon that, I will determine what steel I'm going to use and the type of handle, so on and so forth, that makes that. I've recently got started into making short swords. I've had some people request, they do the Renaissance fairs and that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, matter of fact, my son for his 50th birthday wanted a Sparta Roman short sword.
Wow.
So I made that for him. So,
Right. Well, so where do you get your information about how to make it? Is it just something that if you have the general knowledge of how to put things together and then you have a picture and you can just go from that, or is there other things that go into it?
I think it's just part of the craft, and YouTube, as a lot of people know, YouTube's your friend. The knife community is interesting because if you go to any of the knife shows or any of the knife makers,
Mm-hmm.
they're more than willing to share their information. There's schools you can go to. I will actually have taught some people. I don't charge for teaching them, just trying to pass the craft on.
Right.
So other craftsmen, YouTube, watching videos, that type of stuff.
So whenever people like here at this event are walking around, they see it, did they ever ask you, how did you learn how to do it?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
People are interested in how you get started with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the best thing I do is just, and it's like any of the craftsmen in here, is find something you may be interested and just dive in both feet.
Right.
You're going to wind up and make mistakes. I ought to bring one of my first knives in, and I'm ashamed of it. It's probably in the trash.
Don't be ashamed, because there's so many people who are scared to start because they don't think they're going to do a great job because it doesn't look as amazing as these maybe. But what it illustrates is that you got to get started somewhere. See, there was one time when I was a starter, right? So, I mean, it's the same thing in just about all that we do. I've had, and pardon the language, but I said, if you want to be good at something, you got to be willing to suck at it first, right? So.
And in my case, there was a lot of sucking at it. That's my point. But my point is exactly what you're saying. My first knife I look at now, compare it. I have that knife on my table because it's a great reminder to look at where you were and where you're going.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I would tell you exactly like you're saying. Just do it. My grandson, I taught him this summer. He made 25 knives. A couple of them he messed up, and I told him, I said, you're never messing up when you're doing it.
Right.
It's what's going to happen. You are going to have mistakes, but they're all lessons.
Right.
And for me, in the knife business, I always say there's no mistakes in knife business. They're just shorter knives.
Right.
So,
shorter knives. Yeah. Right. Is that kind of like they say with lumber, cut it off twice and it's still too short?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, we say that a lot. So anyway, where can people reach you if they don't see you at an actual event, if they see something here on this, on the table here and want to reach out to you? How can they get in touch with you?
Sure. You can look on at my logo. You can call me. You can text me. Just tell me what you're looking for, what you want, and then I'll quote you a price. But yeah, if you have a knife you want made, let me know. If you're trying to figure out how to get into this business, just give me a call and I'll tell you the best way.
You're happy to share your knowledge.
Oh, very, very.
And right here at an event like this, folks, what you'll find more often than not is that the people who are making these great products, they're so happy to share the knowledge about what they do because they love it. They love to talk shop. And you come to events like this so you can not only see what they make, but you can learn about how to do certain things from people who actually do it. So, John, I just want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk to you here on the Farm2Table Direct Show. I wish you luck on the rest of the event, and hopefully we see you back here next year.
Oh, you'll absolutely see me. if you come to these shows, the only thing I will tell you, if you're trying to learn anything, is make sure that you make time to talk to the vendors, because like me and the rest of the vendors, just as he said, we're going to bend your ear until you have to brush us off. So we'll tell you how to do it, but we may talk a little longer than you want us to.
No, I just appreciate the information and allowing us to share it, with the audience out here. I love to share the information of all of these vendors out here, because if it wasn't for you guys, we just wouldn't be able to do something like this, right? So we do appreciate it. And everyone, once again, this is Keith with the Farm to Table Direct Show. And again, we are at the Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous, just kind of giving you a sample of what you can expect if you come out here to one of these events. There is so much to offer at these events that you can't imagine unless you've actually done it in person. You find like-minded people, you find all kinds of ideas about products and about expertise that's out here. Well, just earlier, I processed my very first chicken as an old duck myself, okay? So anyway, you can never know what you're going to find. And so until next time, we'll see you on the next one.